Hail, Photons and Avengers, it's Mjolnir Monday, March 11th, 2019, and we're going higher and further on the Fastlane to SC Comicon on your weekly thunder. See what I did there? Starting things off on to the Fastlane, Becky Lynch's suspension was lifted by Stephanie McMahon as that was best for business, and despite her still limping around after signing a hold harmless agreement. Becky was put into a match with Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship. Fastlane until Ronda came out and was like, what the fuck, this is not at all what I was trying to get to. So they changed the stakes to, if Becky wins, she goes back to WrestleMania and there'll be a triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. And if she loses, she goes home and it stays Rousey Flair, the showcase of the Immortals. Ronda also got sick of everyone chanting for Becky every time Ronda came to the ring and tired of McMahon's shenanigans, so she snapped and said, I am not your dancing monkey, damn your fantasies, damn the man, screw the woo, no more than Mrs. Nice Bitch, and started wailing on Becky. The match went as planned on Sunday, and Becky actually held her own, but probably way too banged up to seal victory on her own. Fortunately, Ronda really wanted Becky in the match, so she came out and punched Becky in the face, making Becky the winner by disqualification, but still the winner, so she's in, and it's game on to WrestleMania. While everything's built to the WWE Championship with Daniel Bryan against Kevin Owens, everyone's favorite true number one contender Kofi Kingston wasn't done, as the whole New Day still made noise about their displeasure with Kofi being replaced, and during kickoff, Mr. McMahon called Kofi to his office, made him wait an hour, and then told him that the WWE Championship will be a triple threat and to get to the ring now. He did, and the announcer was told to announce his match as a 2-on-1 handicap match against The Bar, and both Sheamus and Cesaro will be legal at the same time. His New Day brothers, Xavier Woods and Big E, tried to run out and help him later on, but they were ambushed by Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, who they had defeated earlier in their match on Fastlane Kickoff. The WWE Championship actually was a triple threat, but the third competitor was Mustafa Ali, who Kingston had replaced right before Elimination Chamber, so technically Mr. McMahon didn't lie. He just kept out all the necessary details to give the true context of what was going on. And the acorn went from being the farthest from the tree to the closest, as Shane and The Miz opened Fastlane with their rematch for the SmackDown Tag Team titles against the Usos, and after they lost, Shane beat the hell out of The Miz, in Cleveland no less, which is The Miz's hometown, and put hands on Miz's father. I guess this is that heel turn we were told we were going to get from Shane at Crown Jewel that instead turned into a Miz face turn. Elias performed several times throughout the show and wasn't interrupted, but right after his final performance, Lacey Evans did her runway walk, followed by Elias getting RKO'd from Randy Orton, who in turn got a phenomenal forearm from AJ Styles. That's a WrestleMania-sized grudge match. I told you guys last week how Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins both rescued Dean Ambrose from the Legion of Assholes, and that old Shield smell was wafting again. Well, Roman brought Seth out to start the show for last Monday's Raw, and I was hoping for Shield, but it almost smelled like a Universal Championship triple threat that Seth was willing to grant to Roman, but Roman was actually talking about a Shield reunion, which Seth was almost totally repulsed by because of his well-publicized feud with Dean Ambrose, but he finally conceded. Took Dean some time and a butt-whooping by Drew McIntyre, followed by Reigns and Rollins coming out to persuade him for a final time. Dean wasn't having it and took to the steps to leave until Corbin, McIntyre, and Lashley came out to taunt Roman and Seth, and they were about to pounce on them 3-on-2, and then Dean had a low-key but epic moment of fuck it and jumped in to beat back the Legion of Douche. Roman and Seth put their fists together in classic Shield fashion and were calling on Ambrose to do the same, and then he conceded on that, and the Shield is back. Sunday night was one last ride. The Legion of Douche came out first and waited for a good 10 seconds or so, and then Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta Shield. The guys came out for the final time, and it was a 6-man tag match for the ages. Curb stomps, dirty deeds, spears, Superman punches, Shield triple power bombs. Everything you could ask for, and the Hounds of Justice were victorious for their last ride. Or is it? They're scheduled to have a farewell address to open tonight's Raw. Anything can happen. Just ask Triple H and Batista, who will be meeting face-to-face tonight for the first time since Atlanta. Lightning Lad and I went to SC Comicon this past weekend, and we got clearance to come in with a microphone and a mobile device connected to it. Thanks again, Alex. And we conducted interviews with members of the 501st. We talked to all the mics of the ESO network. Yeah, we talked to the mics with our mic. We had Wheatleaf of History of Comic Books for the first half of Sunday. We did reports from the show floor, bought some neat things, which you can find on my Instagram and my personal Facebook, and overall had so much fun. Even in my weekend state on Sunday for professionally garbage bullshit reasons, I stuck it out for the whole show to do my part in making what might be the first podcast to do a show like this at SC Comicon. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd like to for sure own this fact that would be history-making, because SC Comicon is growing in leaps and bounds and is going to be a true titan in 2 to 5 years, and I'd be proud to have Thunder Talk be part of its history while we're growing and getting our shit figured out. We're only 4 months away from Thunder Talk's first anniversary, and while we've had times in the past of being stagnant, this weekend things were accomplished that promises growth and consistency going into the sophomore year. Finally, and you knew this was coming, Sexy Thor's word on Captain Marvel. I loved it, despite the fact that it had some cliches and predictable plot points, and one I really didn't see coming. My thing about superhero cliches is that you either accept they'll always be there, and you either accept it because it resonates that much with you, or it turns you off to the genre or just particular movies if there aren't other elements that jive. Captain Marvel resonates with me the same way Captain America resonates with me. They were both told they couldn't do things because Steve was weak and sickly and Carol's a woman, but they already had so much heart that they never gave up, and then they got these extra abilities that took everything that was already in them to another level. It resonates much more with me than Iron Man and Thor, whose major flaw starting off was that they were too arrogant and had these toxic traits about them, and they had to learn humility to get their shit straight. They're both awesome heroes, but just wasn't relatable to me in that way, but I was fine with that. Still awesome movies, awesome characters. Plus, Thor's journey resonated just fine with me in Ragnarok. And no, I'm not including the haircut whatsoever. But anyway, I dug the story, I dug the actors, Goose is fucking amazing, go see it. And I know there's this whole controversy that's got people saying Brie Larson doesn't want white men to go see it, but that's not even close to the case. She stated she noticed most of the critics who review the movie and the journalists she meets on her press junket were white men, and she was simply saying she would like a more diverse group of both critics and journalists so that people can get the different perspectives, because while there could be some white men who understand this movie and what it's about and who the top demographic is, hint, not them, there are those who will just jump to silly conclusions and give out an interpretation that doesn't paint the movie in its truest light. Same thing you gotta do with the news today. You gotta see it from the multiple sides to better understand it, because all these news outlets have opinions mixed in. I don't believe Brie Larson hates white men. She certainly got along with the Air Force crew that trained her, which does include white men, and even if she did, she knows enough about the free market to know that white men go to see this movie, so they're still included, and that there's things in this movie for them to enjoy, and of course they have representation in the movie with Coulson, and if any male has a problem with that, then what the actual fuck do you have against Coulson? And this question comes from Sexy Thor, not Brie Larson. And if you think, no, there's more white men that could understand. I mean, yeah, there are those. There are those. But if you want a case of shit gone wrong and representation being attacked unprovoked, just ask Kelly Marie Tran and Daisy Ridley why they don't have their Facebooks anymore. Or Twitters or Instagrams. But anyway, there aren't even any digs to white men like the colonizer lines from Black Panther that certain groups got butthurt about, so sit back and enjoy this movie and get ready for Endgame. That's it, just don't worry and enjoy your life. It's what we try to preach here on the show. And that's your Weekly Thunder for March 11th. I'm Sexy Thor, or maybe I'm Lightning Lad after that last rant. So drink, fight, and go watch Captain Marvel.